The third season of the American television series The Mandalorian stars Pedro Pascal as the title character, a bounty hunter travelling to Mandalore to redeem his past transgressions with his adopted son Grogu, who's being aided on the journey by fellow Mandalorian Bo-Katan Kryze, played here by Katie Sackhoff. It is part of the Star Wars franchise set after the events of The Return of the Jedi, the film in 1983. The season is produced by Lucasfilm, Fairview Entertainment and Golem Creations, with Jon Favreau serving as the showrunner. Development on the third season of The Mandalorian began in late April 2020, and it was officially confirmed that December. The season continues the Mandalorian Grogu storyline following the events of its spin-off series, The Book of Boba Fett, while also revolving several plot points established in the previous seasons. The season also promotes Katie Sackhoff as a series regular. Filming began on October 2021 and wrapped in late March 2022. Composer Joseph Shirley replaces Ludwig Göransson, who composed the score for the previous seasons. The 8-episode season premiered on the streaming service Disney Plus on March 1st, 2023, and ran until April 19th, 2023. It received generally positive reviews from critics, with praise for its performances, musical score, direction, cinematography, and action sequences, but criticism for the writing and pacing, with some deeming the season weaker than its predecessors. A fourth season is in development. The cast includes Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. Orphaned as a young child, the Mandalorian was adopted into the Mandalorian culture and trained as a warrior, later becoming a bounty hunter. The character is rarely seen without his silver Beskar helmet, which he is forbidden by his creed to remove publicly. Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan Kryze. Bo-Katan is initially a member of the Death Watch, a terrorist faction of the Mandalorians, who wish to restore the ancient warrior ways of their planet, Mandalore. She is also the sister of the Duchess Satine Kryze, the love interest of Obi-Wan Kenobi and pacifist ruler of Mandalore, from whom she is estranged due to difference in their politics. She later allies herself with the former Jedi Ashku Tona and the Galactic Republic in liberating Mandalore from the former Sith Lord Maul. Bo-Katan is later declared the new ruler of Mandalore after being gifted the Darksaber by Sepine Wren. While in the Mandalore, she seeks to recover the Darksaber from Moff Gideon and later the Mandalorian, through the rule of combat after the purge of Mandalore before reuniting her people to repopulate the planet. Some recurring co-stars include Mercedes Venado as Cosca Reeves, Emily Swallow as the Armourer, and Simon Caceres as Axe Wolves. They all play Mandalorians, as well as Giancarlo Espinato as Moff Gideon, the main antagonist. Gideon is the leader of the remnant of the fallen Galactic Empire and wielder of the Darksaber, responsible for the purge of Mandalore, who attempts to capture the young, Force-sensitive child Grogu, who is being protected by the title character, the Mandalorian. He plans on using Grogu's blood to imbue numerous clones of himself with Force sensitivity. Some fun cameos in the series are from Jack Black, who plays Captain Bombardier, Lizzo as the Duchess of Pulsar 15, and Christopher Lloyd as Commissioner Hellgate. In late April 2020, the Mandalorian creator and showrunner Jon Favreau said he'd been writing a third season for a while. That September, co-star Giancarlo Esposito said the second season would start to lay the groundwork for the depth and breadth that is going to become into season 3 and 4. We are already going to start to get answers. After the second season finale, The Book of Boba Fett was announced for December 2021. Commentators speculated that the third season would be shifting focus from Din Djarin, the Mandalore, to Boba Fett. Favreau soon declared that The Book of Boba Fett was a separate spin-off series that was already in production in December 2020, with the third season of The Mandalorian again focusing on Din Djarin. He added that the third season was in pre-production and filming would begin in 2021. Bryce Dallas Howard, Rick Famuyiwa, and co-star Carl Weathers all directed episodes after doing so for the previous seasons. Favreau wrote all 8 episodes of the season, working with Noah Clure on the 3rd episode and Dave Filoni on the 4th and 7th. The season picks up after the events of Book of Boba Fett in 2021, with the Mandalorian and Grogu travelling to Mandalore so Din Djarin can redeem himself for his transgressions of removing his helmet. Discussing the absence of Cara Dune in the season following the firing of actress Gina Carano, Famuyiwa said the character was still a big part of the world and that Favreau had taken the time to address her absence. However, the creatives knew the heart of the show was Din Djarin and Grogu, with Filoni stating the season was mainly dealing with the Mandalorians and the Mandalorian saga and the Mandalorian tale, and how that affects the duo story. Famuyiwa stated that the season will resolve a number of plot points established in the previous Mandalore seasons, as well as the spin-off series The Book of Boba Fett, particularly in the final 2 episodes, concluding the first chapter of these connected stories. The season would also plant seeds as to where the connected storyline was heading. Filming had previously been expected to begin once the filming for The Book of Boba Fett was completed, but was unable to because Obi-Wan Kenobi was using the Los Angeles sound stages. Esposito noted that production did not need to wait for Pascal to complete filming the HBO series, The Last of Us, since The Mandalorian is primarily seen with his helmet on. Regarding filming the season during the COVID-19 pandemic, Favreau felt The Mandalorian was in an advantageous situation since many of the characters are in masks and the series employs a lot of digital work that augments things, allowing production to be flexible to adhere to filming protocols. Now, I went into Season 3 somewhat skeptical, as I felt there'd been somewhat of a conclusion to the Mandalorian and Grogu story in Season 2. After all, the whole story was for Din Djarin to get Grogu to his own people, namely the Jedi. And who could forget the fantastic finale of Season 2, where Luke Skywalker now takes Grogu under his wing. Now, of course, in the spin-off series, The Book of Boba Fett, Grogu apparently now chooses to reunite with Din Djarin, and so the two continue their father-son-like relationship. At the end of the day, that is exactly the heart of this show, is the story between these two characters. And for some reason, out of all the Star Wars spin-off material, with the exception maybe for me of Obi-Wan Kenobi, this Mandalorian show just seems to work. And even though I wasn't really expecting much from Season 3, once again I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's pure escapism at its best. The story is fundamentally a simple one, but it really pulls you in. And of course this season now tells you much more about the Mandalorian folklore, their creed and their ways and their complicated society. I also love now the addition here of Bo-Katan Kryze as a main character, and she's played superbly here by Katie Sackhoff. The rapport between her and of course Din Djarin, played by the wonderful Pedro Pascal, is just fantastic and really adds another layer to the show. The CGI is absolutely fantastic. The creative plot points are so well done and put forth. And like I said, what Jon Favreau does so well here is keeps the story fundamentally simple. This is fundamentally about a man now trying to find his roots and a home for his people, as well as protecting and developing a father-like relationship with Grogu. But now we see the story from Bo-Katan Kryze's perspective as well, as she works to reunite the Mandalorians and reclaim their lost planet of Mandalore. Everybody does their job superbly, but really what it is that makes this show work so well is the fantastic flamboyant storytelling, the excellent script, and wonderful fantasy style of the Star Wars universe brought forward here perfectly in this show's format. Each episode flies by and keeps you entranced, as you are truly taken on an adventure of a lifetime. The Mandalorian Season 3 gets a 9 out of 10.